Remember, the wait times of the HCA East Florida Hospital emergency rooms average in the single digits. Just text ER to 32222. When you do that, HCA East Florida sends us wait times immediately to your phone. You're ready in case of an emergency because they don't wait for appointments. Our thanks to Tupelo Honey, more than just a boutique jean wine store. They provide our clothing for Eat This Drink That Go. High quality denim for men and women, a must year round. New inventory daily at the Town Center, Aventura, and South Miami locations as well.
They have a big sale going on.
They do. Our thanks to Ernie's Wayside Garden Florist, family-owned business for over 50 years. They provide our flowers as well. Same-day delivery to all of Miami-Dade County. Tell them Jimmy and Brady sent you from Eat This Drink That Go. Go to HerniesFlorist.net. That's HIRNIS Florist.net, located in South Miami off Red Road. The Gulfstream Park, the 28th, on January 28th, rather, the Pegasus World Cup Invitation. This is a big deal.
It's huge.
For horse fans. $12 million will be on the line. The world's richest horse race right here at Gulfstream Park. All right, learn more, GulfstreamPark.com. GulfstreamPark.com, or to purchase tickets, go to PegasusWorldCup.com. All right, we're so pleased to be joined. And this is a project that all South Florida should be very proud of.
Yes.
It's Brightline and CentralFare. All right, it's going to be a train service that goes from Miami all the way up to Orlando eventually. And the first leg will be set later this year. And the food at CentralFare is going to be special.
Oh my goodness.
And we're so pleased to be joined by David McIntyre, Senior Vice President of Hospitality Operations, and one of our favorite, our chefs, Richard, is it Hales or Hales?
Hales.
Hales, okay. Hales.
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 Chef owner of Blackbrick Chinese.
Hales.
If you, yeah, right, that's right. If you've not been to Blackbrick Chinese in Midtown Miami, you're missing something. It
You
is
really
simply
are.
the best Chinese restaurant in South Florida, and there's no question about it.
Thank you.
Thanks to both of you. Tell us about the project first.
Yeah.
Well, we're super excited to be here, and thank you for your hospitality. We're obviously delighted to introduce Richard to CentralFare and to the Brightline project. We are a mixed-use development located in downtown Miami, residential towels, office towels, and a retail. And at the heart of that retail, 50,000 square feet of wonderful food and beverage, featuring largely local talent, local operators, local restaurateurs, talent such as Richard, bringing that community experience into the heart of downtown and expressing their interpretations of different ethnic foods, different types of local foods here in the downtown district.
Right.
Yeah.
Will you do a black brick there, or is it going to be a different concept?
It's going to be like a dumpling-sized black brick.
Right.
It's much smaller, so it's in the food court. Yeah, you got it. Thank you for that. We're going to sort of focus on dim sum, dumplings, and then we're going to have a walk station there, but it's going to be simple, like fried rices, noodles and things like that. It's not going to be the full menu that you get in our Midtown location.
Yeah, Midtown, again, it's black brick. It's absolutely terrific.
He
right
makes
there
the
on First
stuff look
Avenue.
easy,
Yeah,
too.
he does.
Oh, and by the way, we're going to post these recipes.
Yeah, we are. So you'll know exactly
Yeah.
what to do and what to eat and where to go. But the project opening, when do you think we'll have CentralFare open?
We will be open in late summer of this year, late summer, early fall. We're super thrilled to be offering transportation and at the same time offering our food, our full food offering.
Right. First phase, you'll be able to go from Miami to West Palm Beach.
That is correct. yeah.
Second phase, all the way to Orlando.
That is also
Love that idea. All right,
Yeah.
Chef, what have you made for us? Because you brought so many
Yep.
different things.
Well, we can start here. I mean, we're going to go and do a plating of our dan dan noodle that we serve in Midtown that you've probably had before. But first, we got to start with our we call these vegan chicharrones. And you can, if you want to taste one of those,
Thank you.
we actually give these away in the beginning, and we'll be doing the same thing at CentralFare, and it's sort of my version of a chicharron, but it's actually vegan. So it's a Chinese hot water dough that we fry.
It's a tasty chicharron.
Yeah, it's a tasty chicharron, and then part of our dim sum lineup will have our ribs. Here we have our dim sum, we have scallop and shrimp there, we have hargao, we have shumai, the pork shumai, our chili oil that goes with that because, not everything at Blackbrick is spicy, but we do a lot of Sichuan, so we sort of mix that in with the Cantonese cuisine. This is our version of Peking duck with the bao buns, and then we use these roti. It's the same dough that you had here. Fried rice is a young chow fried rice, and then eggplant with hoisin, chili beans, chili, sesame oil, Shaoxing wine. So it's good. And what we have here is this is the meat sauce that we make for the dan dan, and this is pork. We make our own chili oil. It takes about 2.5 hours of literally the wok chef just stirring the chilies, and we make it in-house, and it makes a huge difference because it's the base of this dish. So you have, in this dish, you have those components, a little bit of the chili, or a lot of the chili oil, garlic, fermented bean paste, a little bit of soy sauce, sesame oil, the yellow Shaoxing wine from China, and I'm heating it up for you here. And I mean, it's just, for me, it's hot, but this is a very important part. You see a lot of oil in it, but in Sichuan cooking, this is very important because there's a lot of flavor in it.
Right. Chef, how did you get involved in this type of cuisine?
Chinese food, I mean, I'm not Chinese, but I am part Filipino, so I grew up eating soy, garlic, chilies, fermented items from my grandmother. She would make adobo for me my whole life. So I was always exposed to Asian cuisine. I know I don't look Asian, but I was always exposed to it, so it's always been part of like my palate, you know. And
I'll tell you, the food at Blackbrick
Oh, my
I brag
goodness.
about
It's
it all
really
the time
special.
because I kept saying, when are we going to get a real, authentic Chinese restaurant in South Florida? And finally, we found you at
Right.
Blackbrick. Again, they're right there in Midtown. What other restaurants are going to be coming into CentralFare?
Well, alongside Richard, we'll have the brothers Voltaggio. Brian and Michael were the winner and runner-up of Top Chef in mid-2000s. And we'll have local operators such as Della Hyman with Della Bowls. We'll have Azucar Ice Cream with Susie Battle's Azucar Ice Cream. Toasted Bagelry. We'll have Miami Smokers. We'll have a Doggies, which is a traditional Venezuelan cuisine, Venezuelan restaurant down there on 22nd.
Right.
Miami
Dynamite.
Smokers is going on the show next week.
Nice.
The focus here is to have local operators be part of the community experience and activate that by having them engage with the local community. A lot of events, a lot of programming, a lot of activation within the venue itself.
Well, the great thing is that you're not doing just your normal food court.
Right.
Oh, of course
This is a
Right.
very high-end, wonderful,
Yeah.
top chef kind of cuisine, which is going to draw a lot of people to your restaurants, Richard. But also, it's almost like a meeting place for South Florida.
Right.
Miami needed this.
Well, it's almost like we connect the people physically with our transportation, but we connect them emotionally with the food.
Yes.
Right, and I think it's in that vein that we've created this immersive culinary experience, which we think is going to resonate very well with the community.
Absolutely true. You know, we become friends with the people who come on the show because we were kind of sharing a meal. We're sharing something very intimate in that sense. But again, this is going to be a wonderful project. All of South Florida can be very, very proud of, I think.
And long overdue.
Right, Brightline. And Brightline is, again, this project that's at the heart of it. It's transportation to West Palm Beach and then up to Orlando. Where will you go in Orlando? Will you go?
We'll go to the airport.
You will?
Our station exists within the terminal to the new terminal in Greater Orlando Airport.
And that'll make it easier to be able to get to Disney World or downtown or wherever you need to go.
We'll have lots of connectivity, ground transportation connectivity, first and last mile we call it, but it's making the journey that much easier. It's connecting
And
them
more
to final
fun.
destinations. Yeah. Well, broadband internet on the trains, you're able to get something to eat on the trains, you're able to get something to eat at the stations.
Right.
Wow.
And much the same way as European and Asian transportation hubs have become synonymous with great food, that's what we hope to accomplish here with Richard Hales.
And also people will be able to sample your cuisine. So with Blackbrick or any other restaurants that you decide to open, you'll be able to get that sample of who you are.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a good project to be part of.
No, it is. Well, again, that looks marvelous. This is going to be a noodle dish basically.
Right. So what we do, and then this is sort of like my Asian funk fusion that I did when I started Sakai Kitchen. I'm making a bucatini noodle from an extruder instead of using just the white noodle that you would typically find in Dan Dan. I do a bucatini noodle, and then this is a peanut sauce that we do with a little white vinegar and some sesame oil. We cook it in the wok, and that gets spread on top. And then you have your meat sauce here. Let me put in. And this is like I'm part Italian, so I grew up eating Italian food, and it's like a great bolognese. It's like
does
an
look
Asian.
like
Wow.
Yeah, it does.
It's an Asian version of bolognese, and then this
Man.
oil, you can't be scared to eat it. I mean, can you eat like this every day? I mean, some Chinese do, but if you
Boy, does
do,
that look
you'll
absolutely
end up
beautiful.
looking like me.
Is this on the menu at Blackbrick?
This is on the menu, yeah.
Wow.
And then we do a little crushed peanuts on the top, intensify another layer of flavor. And then we have some freshness in the dish with the fresh cut scallions.
Wow.
And then some toasted white sesame seed on top. And that's the dish.
Man, is that beautiful. What a gorgeous dish. Well, Brenda,
I'm ready.
here's a fork.
Now you're also a wine connoisseur, huh?
Yeah.
Sommelier.
My ex-life was, I was a somm for about 7 years for the Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group and in Miami and New York, and I did a lot of their hotel openings and doing their beverage
Now,
program.
you brought us a bottle of wine. Tell us about this.
So, pairing
Oh my goodness gracious, this is so good.
pairing wine with Asian food can be difficult. The typical stuff is Alsatian
Right.
or wines that have some residual sugar in them, like German Rieslings, Austrian wines. But what my wife and I like to do is we just like to pick the wines that we like, and hopefully they go with the food, but it's more about the experience. That's what my whole
Yeah.
concept of restaurants about, your experience
Right.
there. And this wine, my wife and I were married in Napa, and this is where we had our reception.
And Vine Cliff.
And Vine Cliff. So this is that was 2006. This is 2010, but it's a nice cab and
Near and dear to your heart.
near and dear to our heart. So you can't complain. So
You know what I like about that? The idea that pair it, but and here's a chef and a sommelier. But he's
Right.
pairing it with based on an experience that he or his wife or the group had, which is a nice element.
Right.
right.
But I mean, he's so well known for his culinary expertise,
Right.
and then but he's a sommelier as well. I thought
Well,
it's
yeah,
just
I think they go hand in hand, don't they, chef?
Yeah, I mean, the working as a somm was an adjustment coming from cooking, but it was an adjustment from going from raw ingredients to a finished product. Like, how can I enhance the meal with that? And that's the way that I looked at it. And then going back to cooking, that's really my passion. That's really what I love to do. So I switched back to that. But it's still a creative endeavor in the dining room. So.
Well, how often do you change out the menu at Blackbrick? Are you constantly innovating? And moving
No,
things up?
because you try to, but then people get upset.
yeah. Yes, that's true.
What's the one thing you cannot take off the menu?
This Dan, we cannot take off the menu.
I can
Our
see
fried
why.
rice, like our young chow fried rice. I mean, things, basic stuff like that. The ribs. There's some, stuff that I've tried on the menu. You talked earlier about people want like the traditional or the first great Chinese restaurant. So I would put jellyfish and beef tendon and tripe and all of these things on, but they didn't sell.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
they were there and they were excellent. They were like great versions of these dishes, but they don't sell. So you have to sort of find your way in Miami because it's
And you
It's
do
a
a
fickle
lot.
market. in a
Yeah.
lot of
You
ways.
do a lot of vegetable dishes.
I do a ton of vegetable
Yeah,
dishes.
which I-
I was vegan for about a year or so, and I eat a lot of vegetarian. My wife and I, we try to eat plant-based as much as possible. Opening a fried chicken restaurant this year didn't help the vegan part, but I always have an option for vegan or vegetarian in the restaurant. Like, you could have a complete meal, like a really good time, and come multiple times and have different things. It's not an afterthought.
Right.
It's not like, oh, well, we're just going to throw something together, and the cooks are upset about it.
Well,
It's part of our culture.
I tell you, it's a terrific restaurant, and this is the kind of thing you're going to get at CentralFare at Brightline. Brightline will open later this year, and again, it's something we should all be proud of in South Florida because of what it represents. A $3.5 billion investment that will provide connectivity from Miami to West Palm Beach and then or eventually to Orlando. Great train service, more modern elements, and now with CentralFare, some terrific restaurants. There'll be places you can residential and retail. It's going to really revitalize downtown Miami. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to the gentleman just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Right here on
Don't
Eat
go
Fish, Drink
away.
Fat, Go. Cheers.
Thanks.